So I'll say hello to all the people, these millions of people who are out there in that little webcam. Hi, fellows. How are you doing tonight? Nice to see you again. Only, no, it's nicer for you to see me. And you get to see somebody else too, a friend of mine named Yusur Al Bahrani. Yusur is a study in contradictions. She's a Middle Easterner who was going to set up a conference with another friend of hers in Yemen for us, and she's in Yellowknife.
Yeah, so hello, greetings from the north.
Good. It's so nice that you're with us, Yusur. Yusur has been a member of the editorial team of Peace Magazine for the last, several months, better part of a year, I guess. And then she took a job and went to the north and is some sort of communications expert for somebody. I'm not quite sure what her role is, but at any rate, she remains in touch with people in the Middle East. And she had found some friend of hers who's a journalist in Yemen, in Sana'a, Yemen, who was going to talk to us tonight. And he may still show up. You know, he could, it might be that we, at any minute now, he'll pop up on the screen.
Yeah.
And we'll have his presence. But it is 3 a.m. in Sana'a, Yemen now. So I kind of forgive him for not, maybe he's asleep, who knows. I hope he's enjoying his rest. But she had somebody else lined up, and that fellow said he kind of backed out. And we were speculating a little bit about whether it was because there's risk involved. Journalists all over the world it's a high-risk job.
Yeah, I'm still worried about him because at the beginning he was really enthusiastic and he thought that this is an opportunity to shed some light on the humanitarian situation in Yemen. And but yesterday he specifically told me that he doesn't feel comfortable talking about the conflict. So I pray that he is safe, and so is our other guest who might show up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Yusur just a minute ago was explaining to me that she had chosen carefully because she didn't want to bring in as a guest someone who was zealously on one side or the other and promoting one side in an unfair way. And so she was a little bit careful about whom she picked, and that narrowed the field, because in any war, you're going to get most people will be passionately on one side or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So Yusur and I are going to try to fill this time with useful information, and it's valuable because my concern really has been to try to get some material about famines. I should say that if you've been watching this series of talk shows, you'll know that I continuously promote a thing that I was calling How to Save the World in a Hurry, a forum that we were organizing. And that did take place, and we did produce the platform for survival that I told you we were aiming toward producing. And we have some ideas for how to carry this thing forward in the future. I myself am not as clear about how I can contribute because as an old lady, I don't find it easy to get around and do the things that I would like to be doing to help organize it or to take the main responsibility for organizing it. So I can't tell you very much yet about what we'll be doing as a follow-up for the forum. But we will, it's still worthwhile having you check the website, and it will be more worthwhile shortly because we're going to be sort of reconfiguring the website so that it will have more useful material on it. And to look at it, you want to go to something called tosavetheworld.ca and have a look. And gradually, we'll be putting up videos about the marvelous lectures we had. Really, everyone was dazzled by the quality of the lectures on the first day. Second day was a little harder because we had breakout groups and people squabbled, to put it mildly. You know how it is. But at any rate, the breakout groups were useful, I'm sure, and that's where we got our platform for survival. Anyway, I've been speaking about that, and one of the 6 global threats that we have been concerned about as this project has been famine. And my interest in famine, it became kind of curious to me that when I would call people who are experts on food.
I think I can't see or hear. Yeah.
Okay, we're back, I think.
Yeah, we are.
You were cut off for a minute.
Yes.
Now, do we have somebody that I can? Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope we weren't completely cut off. I hope we're okay now. But we still don't have Ahmed. So we will forge ahead. What I was about to say is that famine now has, as a technical thing, it's been cured. The famines that occur nowadays are almost 100% caused by not bad weather or bad agriculture or a problem in the markets where you don't get the money for your produce or any of these things that really affect food access in most of the world when we have to worry about food. It's things like that. But famine is different because nowadays famine is caused as an act of war. One group of people deliberately tries to starve another group of people. And they do it on purpose, and they do it to win their war. So the way that you would combat famine is different from the way you would combat hunger in other parts of the world, where you would worry about, the markets or the kind of food, the access to seeds or the, other things that would, the fertility of the soil or the climate and so on. It's really mostly now, almost entirely, a matter of human rights. And the people working on famine now address it as a matter that has to be cured through political means and through prevention of war and through other kinds of intervention in a war by peacekeepers or something of that kind. But you always have to look at it as a crime that is being perpetrated by one group of people against another.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to talk to Ahmed about Yemen. And Yemen is now undergoing a famine. And is because it's in a war. So here is my friend Yusur, who knows a whole lot more about everything to do with the Middle East than I will ever know. And I should introduce you, but I think it'd be better for you to introduce yourself a little bit. Yusur, if you can give us a little about your own background before we start talking about Yemen.
Oh, sure. So I'm a journalist and I'm a communications expert or professional too. So my background that has let me actually join you for this discussion tonight is the human rights advocacy and the peace angle of my work. So currently, I'm at the board of Canadian Voice of Women for Peace, where we actually that's the work we do. We advocate for peace and abolition of all war and demilitarization as well. But I have worked for and volunteered for several other organizations as well, such as Amnesty International in the past, and so on. I have written and published a number of articles about several topics in the Middle East, and yeah, that's my background. So I'm a journalist, as well as can say human rights advocate. And in terms of academic background, I have my master's in journalism from Ryerson. So I still hope that our guest may join us, but then we'll go on with the discussion. And I totally agree that the when we talk about famine, we have enough resources, frankly, to actually for everyone not to be hungry. But it's the control of one group over the resources and so on. So in the situation of Yemen specifically, Yemen relies on imports. They don't have enough agriculture because of the weather, because of how the land is. However, they are when we talk about Yemen, actually, that was not the situation years ago. And if we talk about centuries or even like thousands of years ago, Yemen was once upon a time called the land of happiness because it's situated in a very convenient kind of way when we talk about geography. So it's easy for them to import goods. Also, it's easy for them to export goods as well. So they could export precious and semi-precious stones, but then have their other food imports.
They export what?
So, for example, Yemen is very famous. In the production or the mining of precious and semi-precious stones when we talk about the arid region. So, for example, if they export that, then they get the import of food. Now we talk about years ago, even centuries ago. What happened in the conflict at the moment is that Yemen, as I mentioned, relies on imports. And at the moment, there is a blockade. There is a Saudi-led land, air, and sea blockade on Yemen. So people really can't have, and even aid workers cannot have enough aid coming in through the through any of those, whether it's the ports or even by air.
Let me get clear if I understand this. There's a blockade of
yes, there is a blockade
of ships and airplanes and road traffic, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And who is doing this?
So it's so then we have to go back to the entire how the conflict actually started. But then before that, I just want to mention a quick fact. Actually, it's a report by United Nations in which they have warned the risk of famine that could imperil 22 million people in Yemen, which is about 3/4 of the population, and this could be actually the worst famine in our times. However, as you were asking this, then if we want to talk about it.
Hey, whoopee! Looks like Ahmed is about to join us in a moment.
Oh, I see.
Ahmed Jahaf. I don't see his face yet, but I see an indication that he's sort of with us. Ahmed, are you there? Hello, Ahmed. Uh-oh. It is. There's something with his name.
Oh yes,
Oh,
we can actually see you, Ahmed. I think you have your mic on mute.
Well, Ahmed, you're also blacked out. I mean, I don't know what happened to your screen either, but theoretically, you're here with us. I just don't hear your voice or see you. Here you go.
Yeah.
There's a guy with the earphones on, I think. Hello, Ahmed. Hello, wave at us. He's got his thumb up. Anyway. Hi. All right, now we just need to work on your voice. Can we hear you? Not so far. Look at the bottom of your screen. There should be a sign where you can unmute your microphone and so on. Your microphone is muted. Now click it open. Can you hear me?
Mic is on mute. I will text.
His mic is on mute. How do we tell him? Let me write a note and hold it up to the screen if he can see it. I don't think he's going to be able to see this. Unmute, unmute. Can you see that, Ahmed? Unmute. Let's see if I can get enough light on it. Well, you were calling him a minute ago, a few minutes ago. Is it worth calling him and telling him to unmute his microphone? Well, I'll tell you what, shall we? It's too bad, I can't tell him if he can't hear me. I can't tell him what to do. Well, well, you guys out there in the world, I don't know whether I can entertain you while they're trying to set up their problem, solve their problem. But I would if I could entertain you. I could tell you what we're going to do next week. I hope that next week we will have a panel discussion about what I call enabling measures, because at the conference, now you're muted. Yusur, your mic is muted too. Do you know that? You did it on purpose. Okay. All right. Anyway, next week, if I'm lucky, my friends will agree to do this. Professor, or well, used to be a professor, Philip Rawkins, who's an international development consultant, Ms. Joy Kennedy, who worked for many, many years for the Canadian Council of Churches and I think the United Church, doing sort of global justice issues, mainly having to do with international taxation, or at least that's one of her areas. And Professor Paul Anstey, who is an anthropologist, retired, I believe, from York University. He is very interested in systems and trying to explain how systems function. So the three of them worked together.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We have Ahmed.
Yeah.
Hello, Ahmed.
Was me.
All right.
Yes, now we can hear you.
Good. All right. Welcome, Ahmed.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for coming. Now, Yusur was filling in for you by beginning to tell us a little about the history of Yemen. And she hadn't got round yet to telling us about the nature of the conflict that's been going on there. So you're a journalist. I'm sure you've been covering a lot of horrible things. Good luck with you. Journalism is a very risky business these days, so we want you to be healthy and safe. Can you step in where Yusur was leading and tell us about this conflict in Yemen? Who are these people fighting each other and why? And when did it start and what's the background to it?
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me. I live in Sana'a, the capital of Yemen. The war started in 26 March 2015. I think it's complicated to talk about who's fighting in Yemen, because many countries joined in this war: Saudi Arabia, Emirates, and even USA and UK. For me, I see that it's like everybody said it's civilian war. It's not, because we are in Yemen, we are alone. I am not talking about Houthis or that group. I am talking about people of Yemen who is under the bombardment, under the blockade since 26 March. It's more than 3 years. We see who's fighting us. It's all the world are fighting in Yemen, not only Saudi Arabia, not only USA, because people who's not joined this war, they are joined by silent. Yeah, you can imagine people under blockade and airstrikes more than 3 years, of war. For example, for me, my wife and my children, they are traveling tomorrow to Egypt because they have to go there to the medical crisis. So now they must to travel from Sana'a to Aden, and the strait from Sana'a to Aden, the way from Sana'a to Aden is not safe, because we are the people of north, the people of north and the people of south of Yemen. They are also fighting. Some people with Saudi Arabia, some people with the UAE, Emirates, some people with the Houthis, something like this. So it's difficult to travel outside of Yemen, because I have to take out my children outside of Yemen. So now they are traveling and it's not safe. I don't know. That's why maybe I was late in this meeting. What else?
Have you been outside of Yemen since before, while the war has been on, or is this your first journey outside?
No, I traveled to Lebanon in 26 March 2016 for my job, because I worked in TV media as a graphic designer. Before, it was the airport of Sana'a. It was open for maybe about 6 or 7 months. Since August 2016, it's closed. For me, I can't go outside. I can't travel from Aden or Mukalla. It's impossible to travel from there, because I can't go there and still alive to travel to Aden. People there, people in Aden, they are checking the ID of Yemenis. If you are from north, maybe they will kill you or something like this. So I traveled outside of Yemen one time, and it's impossible to travel outside of Yemen again, because it was very difficult to go back inside Yemen.
Oh, that's very dangerous. So, yeah, I can't even imagine. Can you tell us, what do you think is the main reason why this is all happening? السبب الرئيسي, the main reason.
Yeah, the main reason, maybe many people inside of Yemen, they don't know what's the main reason. Saudi Arabia said because of 3 reasons. They are fighting because to get back Abdurrabbu Mansur Hadi, and another reason to...
I didn't get that first. just a minute. Go back to the first reason.
First reason, they want Abdu Rabbu Mansour Hadi. This is the old president to get back to be a president again. He already left.
They got rid of the president and they want him back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons.
Okay. And what happened to him? Why is he not president anymore?
He already in 2014 he already left this job. He wrote what we call
he resigned.
Yeah, he's already did this, but because I think he can't do something without asking Saudi Arabia or something like this. They told him go back to again to this job. This is one of the reasons. The second reason, the Saudi Arabia said they are fighting because they are worried. They are worrying from Iran. Iranian, they are worried from Iran. They said there is Iran inside Yemen, and until now we didn't see any Iranian inside Sana'a or any city, because this is the truth. There is no Iranian inside Yemen. Maybe in the media only. This is what I said, like Yemenis citizen, not like anyone. This is the second reason. The third reason, they are worried because of Houthis. They want to go inside Saudis. Al-Hudud.
Say it again. Houthis, is that what you said?
Al-Hudud. They are worrying, the Saudi Arabia worrying from Houthis because they said Houthis want to go inside to Saudi Arabia, and they are worrying from the heavy arms.
So they Saudi Arabia thinks that, or actually wants the public to think that Houthis might go to Saudi Arabia. So Houthi is a militant group in Yemen, and Saudi Arabia is kind of telling the media and that Houthis are going to attack Saudi Arabia. So this is in order to save Saudi Arabia from Houthis. Saudi Arabia is saying that we are going to attack Yemen.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you have to assume that I'm really dumb, and partly it's true here because I don't know that much about this conflict. Now the main people are the Houthis who are being attacked by the Saudis, right? Mm-hmm. Saudis are attacking the Houthis. Now, the Houthis are not the government, though, are they? Who is the government? What group of people controls Yemen?
Now, in the south of Yemen, Saudi Arabia and Emirates controlling the south. The north, it is under Houthis' control. The government, the president of...
Say again the name, the other people, the Saudis and the who control the south?
United Arab Emirates.
South of Yemen, it's Syria and Emirates. But the north of Yemen, like Sana'a, Sa'ata, Hajjah, Al-Hudaydah, it is under controlling of the Houthis.
And you are in an area controlled by Houthis yourself.
Yeah,
Sana'a. Now the Houthis are an insurrection, right? They're a rebel group against the previous regime of the Yemen government, right?
Yeah, right.
Now, who are the Yemen government people? Is that a tribe or an ethnic group or what?
In my area, it's Houthis people.
Yeah, but who are the people controlling the government, the non-Houthis, the people who are other than Houthis?
So is there any other government right now at the moment? Or it is only divided? It's either, okay. There is not one government.
Yeah. There is no government of Yemen. Huh? Pardon?
The truth, no government, but it's inside Yemen, two governments. One government under it's called we called they called Al-Shar'iyya. It's under control of Saudi Arabia and Hadi. Another government, it's under control Houthis.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm.
So it's
I'm still having trouble making out the name of the group of people besides the Saudis. I understand that word, but who are the people in the south?
So it's you mentioned Saudi Arabia and Emirati. So Emirati is referring to United Arab Emirates. Yeah. It's a Gulf, yes. Mm-hmm. And so can we also focus on the humanitarian situation? Prior to you joining us, when we were talking at the beginning of the meeting, we talked about the famine in Majaf. So, and humanitarian situation, الحالات الإنسانية. So if you can focus on the humanitarian situation and what makes this situation as it is, what's happening exactly?
Okay, for this part, this days or this month, it's better than the old months in this part. Because like cholera, it's a little bit it's finished like cholera, but I am talking Sana'a is the capital.
Yes,
it's a little bit better, but if you go to Hudaydah or Hajjah or these cities, it's there it's very, very difficult. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I heard the news airstrikes targeted the cholera center in Hajjah.
Mm-hmm.
It's under control. It's the center by منظمة بلا حدود.
Yeah, it's Doctors Without Borders. A Saudi airstrike actually targeted them.
The Saudis bombed the Doctors Without Borders?
Yes.
The center of cholera. The center, that time it was nobody inside.
I will pull out. Sorry to interrupt you, Ahmed. I'm going to read what the center has posted on their official social media. So 14 hours ago, they said that this morning's attack on an MSF cholera treatment center in Abs by the Saudi and Emirati-led coalition shows complete disrespect for medical facilities and patients, whether intentional or a result of negligence. It is totally unacceptable.
Did it say about killing people, or was anybody injured?
It does not yet say. No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now cholera has broken out mostly because of the famine. There's a big connection between famine and epidemics. And I hadn't known that cholera was a problem there now. Is it very widespread, Ahmed?
Sorry, it's what?
Is it widespread? Is it spreading? Bentashra, cholera? Do you feel that it's a threat?
No, this days, no. It's over, a little bit over, step by step. Not like last year. It was large. Many people in Sana'a, many people you can see from my family in my area, many people. But now we don't hear about this anymore.
Mm-hmm. What is the condition of the people with the famine? Is it because they are blocking the ports and the airplanes that can't bring in food, that people are going hungry?
Because of the blockade. This is the first reason. And because of many people now, they don't have jobs, they don't have salary. That means they don't have a place to sleep. That means they don't have money to buy food. This is all the reasons of this. But this is exactly in Al Hudaydah, in Hajjah, in Saada, that's area. But in my area, Sana'a, it's not a little bit better. You can't see this on the street. You can hear about this in the street, in the people. But outside of Sana'a, a lot.
Okay, that's really frightening. I want to, since you have mentioned Hudaydah, and please, like, if there is anything you think you need to fill me in or correct me, feel free to do that. Yesterday, I read a report and the concern was also from United Nations. There are around 600,000 civilians who live around Hudaydah port. And so those people are at risk of any time of an airstrike and attack. And we talk about 250,000 people, 250,000 people who are at risk of losing everything, even losing their lives. So I really, it's concerning us. And so the UN says that they are very concerned that even people like UN agencies and aid groups, they won't be able to flee Hudaydah if there is an attack soon. The Emirati government said that there will be a 3-day grace period for the UN and related agencies to leave the city. I was really wondering if it's even possible to evacuate like 250,000 or 600,000 people from a city. Do you have any information, more information to add about it?
Yeah, you are talking about 250,000, right?
Yes.
Inside the Hudaydah.
Yes.
But Hudaydah port, it's only one way for all the people in the north. The people of the north, they don't have any way to get any aid or something, just only from the Hudaydah. If Al Hudaydah port closed, that means all the north of all the cities in the north, they can't get anything, because in Aden ports nothing came from Aden, from Mukalla, only from Hudaydah ports. So not only the people who live in Al Hudaydah will
be affected.
Affected of what they are planning to do inside the Hudaydah. All the people in the north, and the people in the north, it's more than the people in the south.
Oh, really? Now, the people in the south get food, is that right? Because they must be allowed, the blockade doesn't apply in the south, right?
Yeah, so in the south, no blockade in the south. But the problem in the south, they don't have, it is not safe place in the south. Like in Aden, it's the most important city in the south of Yemen. We can hear news every month or every week. They kill people killed in the street, someone killed, something like this. It's not safe like Sana'a. Sana'a, it is under blockade, under airstrikes, under many countries, many Saudi Arabia and others. They want to go inside Sana'a, but it's still safe inside Sana'a. And also inside Sana'a, you can see all the people from everywhere. They live in Sana'a. But like in the south, for me, I can't go to Aden. They will ask me to go back from after Taiz. It is like the line between south and north. They don't allow me to go inside.
Okay, so is the problem mostly caused by the Saudi government, or was there already a fight going on inside Yemen before the Saudis took sides? Were the Houthis rebelling against the Yemen government. This and then the Saudis joined in, or did who started this whole fight?
Yeah, okay. If you go to the history of Yemen, you will see we always live in fighting between us. Like Houthis, they already had six wars between Houthis and the government, the old government, Ali Abdullah Saleh governments. Like the wars, small wars between us, it's we already know, we already lived inside it. This is not the most important, the main reason of this war.
The main reason is what? If
the main reason for me, I see because Saudi, they want to control again of Yemen. Saudi Arabia lost the controlling of Yemen. This is I believe in this reason, because you know the old governments they were under control of Saudi Arabia, but now the Houthis came to the government. It's not under control of Saudi Arabia. That's why Saudi Arabia did this war to get controlling again of Yemen. I believe in this reason. Yeah.
Now sorry, go on. Now the Saudis say that there's a problem with Iran. What is Iran's situation? I mean, is Iran? I know that the Saudis and the Iranians have been fighting forever, but what does it have to do with Yemen? Why do they say that Iran is involved with the affairs of Yemen?
Yeah, because maybe Houthis, they are with Muqawama. This is Muqawama, like with Hezbollah, with small parts of groups who's under Iran control, like Hezbollah, like another groups. Houthis, they not supported. They are with this. But I believe there is nothing like Hezbollah or like the relationship between Hezbollah and Iran. Houthis, it's maybe they have supporting. They have Iranian supporting in media. Iran also they wants to show the world we have parts in Yemen, because you know Yemen, it's important place because Bab al-Mandab and the seaports, it's very, very important. I think Iran wants to be inside in Yemen, and maybe they are trying to have a relationship, but until now there is no real support from Iran to Yemen. I hope if there is any support really to stop this war, to have maybe big arms or something like this, but there is nothing from Iran. We see Iranian support in media and maybe in social media, but inside Yemen, where is Iran? There is nothing. You can't see any Iranian inside in Yemen. You can't see any Iranian supporting inside in Yemen. Houthis, every 3 months or something like this, they send what we call it. They send Shahrukh.
They send a missile or a mortar, right?
Yeah.
To Saudi Arabia.
One or two every 3 or 4 months, and maybe it's not to the same area. They can't control this Saudi Arabia, and they are.
And it has it hardly has any casualties when we talk about human life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about casualties in human life?
When So when we talk about human life, if we compare the Saudi airstrikes, now as a person, I would be against any proxy wars between two governments, because I would take I would actually take the side of the civilians. But even if it's not really a fair comparison, if we talk about what Saudi Arabia is doing. So on one hand, we have airstrikes that have, according to United Nations, according to Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, has targeted civilians in several incidents. But on the other hand, you have got some missile attacks or mortar attacks of Houthis, supposedly going to Saudi Arabia, but not really causing any casualties. Human casualties, not attacking any civilians or so on. So I'm seeing it's mainly when they do that, it looks as if they are saying we exist. That's really the goal of it, because it hasn't really done any terrible damage or anything like that. It's mainly like we are out there. However, if we talk about what has happened initially in 2015, Saudi Arabia claimed Iran's support to Houthis, claimed that Houthis are getting arms, and that is why Saudi Arabia managed to get support from Western countries and got the support, intelligence, and even arms support from countries like United States and United Kingdom. We talk about major power. So most of the arms exports that go to Saudi Arabia, or even to Saudi Arabia's allies that have, or the coalition in general that is participating, is Western. It's arms, like it's either American or British arms.
So and the British are backing the Saudis too. No?
Yes,
they are.
Why so by arms sales really show a lot. Arms sales. So even if we don't talk about actual moral bagging, we talk about intelligence and arms bagging. I'm not sure why Ahmed thinks that this is the case. Why would the West back Saudi Arabia in this attack, from your opinion, as someone in Yemen?
Yeah, Ahmed, what do you think? Why would anybody back the Saudis? Sounds like they're just attacking for no valid, even half an excuse. Is there any argument in favor of the Saudis that the U.S. and Britain are observing?
No, because of money and oil, because of arms deals between Saudi Arabia and US, UK, France. You can see every few months, Saudi Arabia and Emirates, they always make arms deals between all the countries. Maybe this is one of the reasons why they support Saudi Arabia.
They just want to sell arms to the Saudis, and that's because they don't care what they're doing with the arms. Is that it? I mean, we have a case like that in Canada. You know, the Canadian government has permitted or even encouraged, I don't know, a big sale of, I think they're armored personnel carriers to the Saudis. And the argument was, well, they're not supposed to use it to fight against Yemen, but there's evidence that they have done so. And as far as I can tell, the Canadian government they still have allowed it to continue, these sales. Am I right, Yusur? Because you probably follow it. I haven't seen any change in government policy about that. Do you know of any?
So frankly, I can't say about the arms sales to Saudi Arabia when we talk about airstrikes. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we have got armed vehicles being sold to Saudi Arabia. Much of the casualties in the attacks on civilians have been were brought up because of the airstrikes. So I can't really say for sure. So yes, I would say, yeah, no to arms sales to Saudi Arabia, regardless whether it's planes or whether it's armed vehicles, because those armed vehicles, there was an evidence that the armed vehicles were used against protesters in the eastern province, in Saudi Arabia itself. So much of the Canadian arms that was used in Saudi Arabia. However, the U.S. made arms was used against people in Yemen. So not to justify at all the Canadian arms sales, but as a matter of fact, I thought I should share this. However, there were some videos and photos of Canadian armed vehicles being showed or viewed or photographed somewhere near the border between Saudi Arabia and Yemen. I'm not really sure of what's going on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ahmed, is there any group outside of Yemen that is working to try to put an end to this fighting? And is there any group other than Iran that supports the Houthis?
No. Even
so the world is allowing this atrocity to continue, allowing the famine to be produced on purpose, and nobody is saying to stop it?
No, I think no. We are alone. Nobody with us. Nobody even tried to be with us. Even Iran.
So I actually I read a report about who is paying who or what is going on, even in terms of the relief funds and helping people in AIDS. Iran hardly gave any money when we talk about food and relief funds. Very, very, very little, like hardly anything. So a graph that was shared by Washington Post says that Iran has even given less than 10,000 in aid, which is really, we talk about, when I'm talking about aid, I'm talking about mainly relief. So Iran has given only less than $10,000, which is really nothing.
Well, the United Nations has done nothing. Is there any effort to stop it in the UN? Has anybody taken it to the Security Council? And if so, what have they said? Nobody answering.
Oh, sorry. I thought the question to Ahmed. Ahmed, you think there is nothing that the UN has done? I am seeing that UN has issued reports. We had UN aid people going on, UN related agencies, but for sure I don't see it as an enough action. But sometimes there is something in me that says, is UN doing anything enough for any of the conflicts around? So does the UN have power over United States to tell United States stop arming Saudi Arabia? No, we really have to. Many of the decisions that are made by United States or even United Kingdom or any of the countries, they are not done under the approval of UN, and they're just done regardless. So yeah, we are seeing human rights reports, and even the cholera epidemic. It was UN that said that 1 million people suffered from cholera. But other than reports helping people, I'm not sure what, in terms of politics, if they have done enough. Yeah.
Well, what agencies are going in and helping with the humanitarian angle? I guess that you mentioned there are camps or treatment centers for cholera. Is there food being brought in to handle the famine?
Ahmed, Prof. Mata was asking if what are the agencies that are helping with this situation, if you think there are agencies that are helping.
Yeah, we are seeing the agencies only like you in media, but in the real we can't find anyone, any agency.
Well, how about the Doctors Without Borders? You say Doctors Without Borders are there someplace, right?
Yeah, maybe in the, as I said, I am in the capital of Sana'a, in the capital of Yemen. I didn't see anyone, but maybe in the Bor cities, or maybe they are there. Maybe they are helping still a little, not like we can see in the media with the UN debt, blah blah blah, office scam, many we can see many in the media, but maybe I see the offices of them many in Sana'a. Yeah, only, but maybe we tried before. Some families from Marib came to Sana'a. They don't have any place to sleep, and one of them, the mother, it was very like saratan, what we call it in English,
cancer.
Yeah, she were very very sick. I tried to ask many office scam and what we call it. I forget the name of the agency, but nobody answered me, because she said she is from Marib and she must go to Marib to apply this paper or something like this. I told them she can't go back to Marib, and she don't have a place to sleep. Her name is Hamda. Maybe you will remember her photos. Five of her children dead by one airstrikes, and her husband and her brother. She is alone with she and her
sons, her grandsons. Yeah,
about six, and only she don't have husband, sons. They are dead by airstrike in Marib. Yeah, the TV recorded her. She was crying. She was crying, and like a blood came from her eyes. This picture was very famous in media. I tried many people to ask, please help her, but nobody. Only few people like businessmen. One of them, they gave her a house, small house in Sanhan, a very far place from Sana'a, and another gave her some foods, a little bit of money, but nobody helped her in her sick, her cancer. She's still until now.
Oh, it's very unfortunate, very sad. And we have read in the news also reports of human rights organizations that Saudi Arabia at one instance have attacked a wedding, or there was an airstrike on a wedding. Entire families would be killed in one airstrike, and so on. It's very sad. Professor Mata, do you have any? I'm just conscious of the time. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, you mentioned briefly that there's some kind of action that we could take here. Do you know of any agency that is collecting money or doing anything on behalf of these Houthi people? How can we help them? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
I would say also not like the Houthis are militant, so I would say also going to the civilians. If there are any humanitarian organizations that would help civilians, that would be great.
So the civilians like yourself, you would not call yourself a Houthi. Is that right, Ahmed?
Yeah.
You call yourself a Houthi?
No, not Houthi.
No. He's not a Houthi. Houthis are militant. So Ahmed is a civilian. He's a journalist.
I am against Saudi Arabia.
Okay, my mistake was I thought a Houthi was like an ethnic group or something, and that most of the people living in the north would be Houthis because that's the whole people, it's a whole population. But you're saying it's something you join. It's like a rebel army or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you're not a Houthi because a Houthi is a fighter. That's what they do, right?
Yeah, they are fighter, and for me, I see they are not that bad like Saudi Arabia. Because for me, I see all the Yemenis are good, even people in the south. But we are like against Saudi Arabia because if Saudi Arabia take out the hands of the south or the people inside Yemen, we will go to peace. We are Yemenis. We are with Houthi, with Mu'tamar, we are with Islah, with all the parts of Yemen. We are not against of us. But I am against the one who came from outside of Yemen to fight us. Yeah, Houthis, Yemenis, Abdul Rabbu from Yemen, Islah parts it's from
It's
Yemen.
A party,
For me, my neighborhood he supported Abdul Rabbu Mansour Hadi, and another one supported Islah, and we can live easy. We can live every day. I say we talking every day in the street. We are sometimes we go hanging out together. It is not this is the problem. From my family, many people with Houthis, many people they are fighting. Yeah, I am not against any part inside Yemen who don't have any agendas for outside Yemen, like who not with Saudi Arabia, who's not with any, even with Iran. Yeah, like this.
Would you say that if the Saudis just stopped and left you guys alone, that you could come to peace rather easily, or is that too optimistic a statement?
Maybe a few days we will go to peace. Yeah, without Saudi Arabia take out of Yemen, and not Saudi Arabia and now and UAE Emirates, not only Saudi Arabia.
Well, I must say that the Saudis do enough bad things in the world. This is just one more bad thing, it sounds like. They certainly don't have a very good record as a civilization looking for peace and tranquility. I hope I'm not unfair to them, but
yes, of course, the authorities, the government that is perpetuating the war, because we of course we do see activists, Saudi activists too, who are against the war in Yemen, and they are risking their lives every day to protest in the against.
Well, bless you all. Yeah, I give you my very best wishes, Ahmed, and I wish that there was something that we here in Canada could do. It certainly doesn't. I hate to leave a conversation in such a bad state of mind, because it doesn't, there's nothing good to be said right now, and nothing hopeful, is there? Do you have any reason for hope?
I have to be because I have children. I can't lose this hope. Yeah.
But what do you pin your hopes on? What do you the best prospect, the most optimistic thing that you could imagine happening? What would it be?
What? Sorry?
How would you get an end to this war?
What do you think? How this war will end, in your perspective? How do you think this war will end now, so that we end on a good note here? How do we?
Question. Yeah.
Yeah. If you
maybe
got
nobody can answer this question.
Yeah. And have you got like my last question would be if you have got if you get one message for our audience, mainly Canadian audience, of how they can help to end this or help people in Yemen.
Sorry?
How do you think we in Canada can help people in Yemen? What can we do?
We already did. You stopped arms deal to Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah,
months ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we do more?
Yeah, it's just like what you do now. Talk to people about what's going in Yemen. Ask the governments to stop supporting Saudi Arabia and supporting the peace in Yemen, because it's Canada, US, and other countries. They can do something. They can ask Saudi Arabia to stop. They can make peace for Yemen if they want. I am talking about the governments, not the people. We have many people in this world. They are supporting us, like as a people of Yemen. But I am talking about the governments.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, and thank you, Yusur. We are about 6 minutes over time, but it's been worth every minute of it. And I wish I could say that we're all going to be happy and everybody's going to be well. And I wish that for everyone. Thank you. I'm saying good night.
Thank you, Ahmed. Stay safe. Thanks.